Hello, welcome to Tekla Structures Designer 2024 course. This is Module 1, Part 5. Okay, and in this part, we're going to be discussing object properties. Okay, now to start with, okay, there are two instances that the property window, okay, will be populated with the properties of an object. Okay, the first instance is when we try to create a new member. And the second instance is when we select a member in the project window. Okay. So now let's start with the first instance. Okay. When we attempt to create a new member. Okay. Let's go to the model tab. Okay. Let's click on slab on beams. All right. So you can see now that the property windows is populated with the properties that will be assigned to any slabs we create. Okay. So now we can, okay, either add the slab to an existing slab or create a new slab. Okay, we can define the method of creating the slab, okay, either by selecting a bay or by defining points, the corner points of the slab. Okay, we can define the auto design settings. Okay, we can decide if we want to include the slab in rigid diaphragm. Okay, we can decide to select bars starting from minima. Okay, we can impose load reduction. Okay, we can select the types of reinforcement we want, either loose bar, the grade of the reinforcement, the size, and the spacings. Okay, so we can decide the size of the reinforcement both for the top bars and also for the bottom bars. Okay, we can decide our concrete cover for the top and the bottom. Okay, we can also specify other slab parameters like, okay, is this going to be slab on beam, flat slab, okay, composite slab. Okay, is the deck going to be reinforced concrete or post-tensioned? Okay, is the decomposition going to be two-way or one-way? Okay, we can type in the slab depth. Okay, the types of concrete, either normal weight or lightweight concrete. We can select our grade of concrete here. Okay, we can scroll down, okay, and select other options. Okay, analysis parameters and other options. All right, so this is method 1, okay, of defining an object's property. The second method is, okay, if I press escape now, all right, okay, once I come here and I select, let's say, a column, okay, I can access the properties of that column. Okay, the name of the column, I can edit the name if I want to, type in a new name here. Okay, the group the column belongs to, the top level of the column and the base of the column. Okay, other parameters like the characteristics is a column, the element type is a beam, material type is concrete, construction is concrete column, fabrication is cast in place. I can decide to design, okay, or gravity design only. Can specify a rotation for the column. Okay, either I want it to be 90 degree, 180 degree. Okay, if it is in the x-axis and I specify 90 degree to switch to the y-axis. Okay, I can also specify the section sizes, okay, the grade of concrete, okay, the type of concrete, okay, okay. I can also specify the alignment of the column. Okay, so if the column is going to be centered, okay, in the major axis or the top or the bottom, and if I center it, I can specify some offset from the center of the column. Okay, the same thing for the minor snap level. Okay, so I can go to the releases, the top and bottom releases, if I want it to be fixed or pinned. Okay, I can go to other parameters like wind loading, analysis and design controls. Okay, confinement, reinforcement, slenderness. Okay, So in slenderness, direction 1 is braced, direction 2 is braced. If my structure is not braced, I can come here and select any other option, either I'm assigning manual bracing or not. I can check the stiffness. I can check the seismic parameters, the reinforcement types to be used in designing the column, and the column stacks. I can start editing the same settings for between the foundation and the first floor, the ground floor to the second floor, and the rest. I can start editing the properties of that column. The same thing with beam. Once you select any beam, you can edit the properties of that beam. You can reassign a different name to the beam. You can check the group the beam belongs to. You can check the plane or the level the beam belongs to, the characteristics of the beam. The element type, material type, the construction of the beam, the fabrication. You can come to auto design the beams. Select bar setting from minimum. You can go to span 1. What is the size of the beam? What is the concrete type? What is the concrete grade? Is the beam a straight beam or a curved beam? Curved about the major or minor axis. I can see the length of the beam here. Alright. Also, the alignment of the beam, I can alter it. The major snap alignment is set to be top. If I want to, I can alter that. The minor snap alignment is set to center. The releases at the end of the beam. If I want it to be fully fixed or pinned, I can adjust that here. So wind loading, I can do that. If I want to impose load reduction, some parameters, like concrete cover, I can alter that here. The reinforcement type to be used for the design of the beam, I can also specify those here. And even the type, the type of reinforcement arrangement for the top bars and the bottom bars, I can specify them all here. Alright, so the same thing with the pad and the same thing with every element in the structure. Now, you can select elements one by one and check their properties, or you can select a group of elements and check their properties. Like now, I've selected everything on the roof, both the slabs and the beam. I can come here. If I want to change the properties of just the slabs at the roof level, I can come here and select slab. So now I will be able to edit all the properties of the slabs at the roof level. Or I can come here and select beams, and I'll be able to edit all the properties of the beams at the roof level. So you can define all the properties before creating the member. But if you are not sure of the member sizes you plan to use, you can just use default member sizes. Design, if the members pass or fail, you can now select those members that fail and assign a new properties to them. Change the section size, change the types of reinforcement you want to use, the concrete grade, any other thing you want to change about the member, you can change it, and redesign. So that brings us to the end of this part. Thank you.